We are back on Morning Line, our final segment this morning. News Channel 5 Chief Investigative Reporter Phil Williams with us, talking about the Investigates team, their piece that's running all of November, Broken on juvenile crime. And Phil, we got more phone calls for you. What do you say? We'll go next to, I believe, Mike. Mike, good morning. Hi, Mike.
Hey, good morning, guys.
Morning.
Hey, I've got a question. What, in the state of Tennessee, what age can a juvenile be charged as an adult for a major crime such as aggravated rape, murder, and what percentage, if they're charged as a juvenile, are actually convicted? And does the DA have the discretion to keep them in juvenile detention until they become of an adult age and then get charged with those crimes? And I'll hang up and listen.
Yeah, we Jennifer Krause, one of our colleagues, recently did a story about some kids who kill situations from the late 90s.
Oh, that's going back, yeah.
And, I think what the youngest child ever tried for murder in Davidson County, I think, was 12.
Yep.
And so, for murder, especially, they can be tried at a very young age. As far as what percentage, I don't know the percentages off the top of my head, but that's an ongoing issue because at what point do you just give up on a kid and say there's no hope of rehabilitation? This child needs to be sent to the Department of Corrections.
Yeah, it's crazy when you think about it. A 12-year-old. When's the last time you spent some time and you saw a 12-year-old?
Right.
And how undeveloped they are at that stage. When they decided to pursue first-degree murder charges against that 12-year-old, that was basically, as you just said, giving up on that child and his future. And I understand it. Horrible crime, and I feel for the victims. But at the same time, you and I are going to pay for him to be locked up for the rest of his life because children are not sentenced to death.
Right.
All right, let's go next to, I believe, Vesta. Hi, Vesta. Are you there, Vesta?
Yes.
Good morning, ma'am. Go ahead.
My daughter's car was stolen, and she had an old phone in there that my granddaughter was playing with, and so we pinged it, and we knew where her phone was at, but nobody did anything about it. But when they did find her car, it had filled out job applications in the back seat. And then when she got a new phone and she went up to her cloud, they had videotaped themselves on that phone that was in the car, and all they've told her is they think they know who one of them is. And there was guns in the car, too.
I'd like to talk to her offline, or if you can get a telephone number from her.
Absolutely. And by the way, so did you guys give all that over to police, and were they using it to try to track them down?
We told them. We even went to the area. Well, we shouldn't have been there because we could have got hurt, but we couldn't find it anywhere. But there was no cops around there looking for it either. So
okay, Vesta, stay on the line if you would, and we'll get your phone number. Phil might want to touch bases with you on a little more on that. I appreciate your phone call. Yeah, that's crazy. It sounded like she had everything.
Yeah. And I think the Metro. I don't know if it was Nashville.
Shouldn't say Metro.
But police really do try to use clues like that.
Oh
too.
yeah, and a lot of these idiots that do these crimes record themselves. Keep it up, guys. All right, let's go next to Alfred. Hi, Alfred.
Yeah,
hey.
Hello, gentlemen.
Good morning.
My question is, whatever happened to public service work? Back when Sheriff Fate Thomas was the sheriff, they used to put us kids on the street cleaning up trash and doing, painting things, making our city clean.
A lot of community service still exists.
Yeah, but I don't know if juvenile court does that or not. That's a good question.
Something to look into. We have time for this clip now. Kids and guns.
Yeah, this is an example of another problem with the laws because juvenile possession of handguns is not considered a serious crime. And so the consequences are pretty dire sometimes.
Until they shoot and kill someone. Let's have a look at this clip.
So what we have is a group of officers that are going to get out of their patrol vehicles and actually get out on foot in the neighborhood.
28 to 18, check your phone.
Once the officers are observed, that word will get around rather quickly, and at that time we'll see if there's any type of movement or suspicious activity.
For the Metro Police Department's Juvenile Crime Task Force, the search for kids with guns
Please let us wait, man. Law enforcement.
See ya.
can take them into Nashville's most violent neighborhoods,
Yeah, no weapons or anything on you?
where danger
About.
Y'all, they're shooting down here.
is just around the corner.
Butcher 2020.
Flavor and cannon.
Here in the J.C. Napier housing projects off Lafayette, one round of gunshots was followed by another. And then another.
You're down in this car,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden,
All of a sudden, yeah. You know, 6, 7, 8 police officers here, and right next to us, they're shooting each other.
Smith & Wesson 40. It's stolen out of Georgia.
The suspects this time were not juveniles, but a visit to the police department's evidence room
Smith & Wesson 38 caliber handgun,
provides a glimpse into the scope of the problem.
Kel-Tec 380 caliber handgun,
Every one of these handguns
Glock 40 caliber handgun,
was taken off a kid
Smith & Wesson 9mm handgun,
on the streets of Nashville.
Ruger 380 caliber handgun.
40 in just a 2-month period. Over the past 5 years, there's been a dramatic increase in the number of juvenile charges for handgun possession.
We had 8 firearms that we recovered on one incident. That's a lot of guns to be in the hands of youth. It's just like we said, that's just a recipe for disaster.
Lieutenant Blaine Whitehead heads the Juvenile Crime Task Force.
There was one house that had guns stuffed in a teddy bear. We've got guns out of back of toilets, in refrigerators, in cereal boxes, you name it. We've probably found a gun there.
He says teens often steal handguns that have been left unsecured in cars that have been left unlocked.
Kids out here in the communities have no hesitation to steal a gun out of a car.
I'll never forget the guns in the teddy bears, Phil. Jeez Louise. And again, a lot of these guns being taken from cars that are left unlocked and the guns are left unsecured. Which is,
exactly.
again, part of the problem that people can correct.
And that's one of the situations, if you go back and watch that full 10 or 12 minute mini documentary, we get into the fact that the state lawmakers allowed, I think in 2014, for people to start keeping guns in their cars. But they have not imposed any penalty for leaving those guns unsecured.
Yeah. I mean, just the other thing that struck me there is, and you were out with them, how brave these officers are. It never ceases to amaze me. They're there, and all of a sudden, shots are being fired. Okay,
And they're running
toward it. And I'm just like, anyone who doesn't think, you know, these officers are brave and take their job seriously. I was watching that, and they could get shot.
Yeah.
These are just random shots, and you hear it, and it's like there's a shooting gallery going on back there.
Yeah, there were shots coming from one side of us. They got that guy in custody, and then there were more shots coming from the other side of the street.
Was this actually a crossfire with someone? Were they firing in the air? What do we think was going on here? They weren't targeting the cops, right?
No. The first round of shots supposedly was a drug deal that had gone bad.
Okay.
And then they never found who was shooting from the other side of the street.
Just amazing, the bravery of these officers every single day. All right, as we wrap things up, Phil, let's just remind folks one more time what they will see tonight at 6.
Tonight on News Channel 5 at 6, we're going to be taking a really in-depth look at whether DCS is failing to watch the kids that are under their supervision.
Okay, and much more to come, and much more on the other platforms as well. Roku, the News Channel 5 app, all of those to go through if you want more detail on this. And some of the video is quite compelling. That alone, the video and some of the arrests. And this is going to go on, by the way, the whole I-team working on this through the end of this month.
Yeah, we have a major disclosure coming tomorrow night.
Is that right?
Yes, so.
All right, I'm not going to ask you what it is because you wouldn't tell me. That's the nature of that. Phil, thank you for coming.
Absolutely.
And a terrific job as always. Yeah. And we'll be having other members of the I-team on MorningLine, I know, through the end of the month as well. Thanks again. Phil Williams, Chief Investigative Reporter. We'll take a break. Be back, wrap things up with a programming note for tomorrow right after this.